Oh, wow. Thank you. That's a sad me. Oops. Okay, I'm sorry. It's a sad me, which I don't get to see. All right. So, like Kinesh said, let's not be humble and not introduce ourselves. So, my name is Ramesh. I head delivery. I'm a techie. I just turned a stand-up comedian yesterday. I also have some interesting hobbies, and I'm a good people person as well. Okay, so today's topic is generative pre-trained transformer, GPT. So this is a very tough topic for me because ever since Ash and I thought that we will do this, Ash kept asking me, where's your slides? Where's your slides? Where's your slides? And Kinesh said, Ramesh, slides will not be ready, right? Which is true because since morning and even yesterday, everybody's talking about ChatGPT and everything that I wanted to talk is already covered. So what do I do now? Right? That's why I don't present my slides. Give my slides to you for review. Anyway, so this, as Kinesh would have guessed, was done 1 hour back. So hopefully it goes well. Okay, what is ChatGPT, right? So it's a generative pre-trained transformer is the full form of ChatGPT. I won't go too much into the detail. Chetan has got a separate presentation on this. Just 3 words important, generative, because we all know, we all have tried, right? All of us have, it's over-searched, overused, over-abused term. Because yesterday when someone was talking about ChatGPT, I heard Karthik say, big deal, what's the great thing about this and stuff like that. Right? We already had it. So it's generative, you ask it to write a poem, it writes. You ask it to write a code, it generates. That's generated. And pre-trained, that's the most important thing which people don't get it, which is, it is pre-trained. There's nothing that you can keep chatting and it can keep learning. It doesn't learn. The learning stopped when it completed its college in 2021, right? So that's the story about the pre-trained model. And transformer, what is a transformer, okay? Some real technical stuff. So quickly on NLP evolution, right? So we all know computer imaging, machine learning, all those things have really evolved. But NLP was really slow to progress. The reason is NLP started with RNN, recurrent neural networks. The problem with that is it just processes words sequentially, right? So my name is Ramesh. Say my name is Ramesh. It doesn't have a lot of context. And it gets really slow if it's sequential. Then came the LSTM. It's long short-term memory. So which has got some context, but not good enough. And then came the transformers. So transformers based on a paper that Google had written called Attention is All It Takes. Right? So basically what it does is it tries to understand the context of what you're saying. It just tries to learn more on what you say. So we'll see how that can be used. Probably Chetan's presentation can talk about it. But basically, it's learning from what you give. And this has been trained on the entire World Wide Web, all the books in the world, right? And the way it is being told is, Accion is an innovation engineering company focused on emerging tech, right? So you just say Accion is an innovation, and this guy should complete. You kind of train it so much till it gets the right word, right? It's like creating an imposition or writing a Sanskrit sloka, right? So you keep on telling till you get the right word. So that's what has happened, and that's what has taken 3 years for it to generate. And why it is not current and why 2021 is, it takes a lot of CPU, GPU processing to get there. So I will stop my technical show off here, okay? And let me get to the core stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that artificial intelligence can do to the business owners. My original topic was the magic that AI can do. Yes? You have a question?
Hi, Ramesh. I have a question.
Yeah?
I am investing in this new company, and I thought if you could help me out.
Okay.
Can you help me with the brand?
Okay. Not this. Here you go. You just put your name of what business you want. You get options in just 1 click. Pick a brand.
Accion.
Oh, nice. Anything else?
Can you help me with the logo?
Okay. Boom. There are the logos here. All just 1 click.
Wow. Can you also help me with the mission and the vision?
Okay, Purnima shouldn't mind, but I'll still do that. Here is your mission for Accion Labs and the mission.
That
Cool,
was
isn't
quick.
it?
What about the website?
Here you go. The whole website is created without a designer, without a techie, without HTML, CSS, JavaScript errors, nothing. Just created.
Are you reading my mind? What about lead gen?
Yeah, sales is the most important part of it. Okay, here you go. We just had this bot go to LinkedIn and brought in Kinesh Joshi's name, and here it got. I have 25 plus years of experience. I love technology. This is all what is done. This part is all generated, right? And you can make targeted reach out to them. And next, of course, is the
Reach outs?
emails, automatic. Cool?
Very cool.
What else?
What about the reach outs?
This is the reach out.
Oops.
Contract. You must be looking for some contracts to be sent.
Yes,
There
that
you go.
did cross my mind.
Next,
What about candidates?
candidates. Here you go. This is a not as good as Hooked on Talent, but somewhere there, you know. So what you do is you upload a video of an interview of someone, no human interaction, you get the ratings.
Oh, amazing. I bet you can't help me with social media.
Well, there is a video just
A
coming.
study by Accenture said businesses that invest in AI and ML can increase productivity by up to 40%. A study by McKinsey & Company found that AI tools help businesses automate up to 4 to 5% of the work.
This is just a text, the face and the video is auto-generated. So everything is done in 2 minutes. Ash? Ash is counting the time. Okay, so that's what AI could do. This is the magic that AI could do. Let's go. Now let's go to my topic. So that's the developer's role in artificial intelligence. What can your generative AIs, ChatGPT, Copilot, all these things can do, right? So we all know our famous Hello World. So you can do Hello Universe here. So here are some of the things that you could do. You can write a code. You can determine the code complexity, which none of us know what it is, right? The big O, small o, all of us know that, right? Optimize your code. Is this the best way to write? Reuse code in different programming language. You can translate code. Ash and I were talking 3 years back on a code translation engine, which was so complicated. And now you put it in and it translates it, right? Or you can write unit tests. Again, not all of us write, but it's important, right? Generate test data. So again, this is an interesting one. Write scripts to generate any amount of data. Code for storing the data. And the right side is we created a complete CRUD application just by a couple of commands. Create the front end, create the back end, create an API, create a MongoDB, connect to it, everything done. Right? And then, and a lot more. Now, having said this, let me just quickly run this, just to let you know that we've really done it. Right? So these are all the code that we generated, and all of them run. And of course, most of you know it also explains every line of what it can do. Okay, how do I go back now? Okay. So developer productivity improvement, right? So lots of theories here. You don't need human beings. Will AI remove people from job? It gives you 90% productivity and performance, improvement in performance. Quality is better by 90%. So it can just do anything, right? That's what it looks like. So it's amazing. So now the odometer, right? Does this give us 10x productivity? You search for ChatGPT 10x productivity. You would have lot of videos, lot of articles that say that gives you 10x productivity. Is it really true? right? That's an important question that we want to ask ourselves. I'm doing pretty good on time. So we'll figure out. Just a side note, so I've covered close to 55 slides till now. Ash was raging at me because my presentation was 70 slides. Okay, so are we 10x more productive, right? Or is it a fad or not? Let's now look at a developer's activity, right? This is something we all know. You pick up a user story and you complete the story, you complete the sprint. What all do you do? Right? We bring functional requirements, non-functional product design, a lot of integrations. You do development, you do testing, check in the story, pull requests, review, all those things happen. Right? And these are the tasks that we do, right? We do analyze the feature, understand what functionality it involves, right? Application capabilities, integration with various modules, microservices, which microservice should it talk to, UI, UX, application architecture, that's an important one. Then, of course, we all go to Stack Overflow, right? So that's where we get all our code from. Right? And then you write a pseudocode, then do an impact analysis if we do that, and then look for the project-specific standards, design patterns, what we use, and stuff like that. Then you sit in code, do a code review, then do your testing, deploy, right? Is this fair? This is all what we do, right? So in this, what are the steps that ChatGPT could help in if you look at it, right? It can help in your Stack Overflow search, which you search in your Copilot or ChatGPT. You write your pseudocode. You have to write your pseudocode still. You have to do your coding. Maybe a bit of review it can do, right? So look at this, right? What AI does for us today, like search, pseudocode, code optimization, debugging, data generation, coding small work packets, all the stuff that we saw in the hexagonal map that we said what this guy can do, right? And the code that we generated. But what AI cannot do today, understanding your stories, right? Doing an impact analysis, doing an architecture and design of it, deployments, infrastructure, project standards, stuff like that. I mean, those are not in today. Let's look at a value map of a developer's time. How does a developer spend time? Again, this is something, I have the privilege of 3,000 people who do anything for me, so I kind of took a sample and we did an analysis on where people spend time on. So the biggest bucket, of course, is about 38% people write code, right? And of course, this is, the 12% is the meetings, grooming, stand-up, disk, and all these things. It takes about an hour or so a day, right? And then you have a big code review. And then testing, debugging, deployments. Why did I put testing, debugging, deployments? Because when you deploy, you get bugs. Again, you test it, again, you deploy, That's why I clubbed it there. And then R&D and learning, 5%, which is usually very, very low. And then the other big thing is architecture, design, impact analysis, integration, other modules, APIs available, not available, the contracts there, not there. All those stuff come in there. So now this, do we all agree that this is a more or less a value map? Okay, so what can our dude do here? It can help in writing code, of course. A bit of code review. We saw we could do some code optimization and stuff like that. Testing, debugging, it can help a bit, not completely. So overall, what we saw is that shocking. 20 to 30% improve in productivity, not a 10x, right? So, and there's a lot of terms and conditions apply. In the right projects, when used effectively, right? It's not 20, 30% always, right? It should be a right project. And the developer should start using it. So you still go to the Stack Overflow and things like that, but still you don't get the power here. Okay. So now what's the challenges with the models that come in, all right? So the interesting thing is all these challenges, I will go through it, but they are all generated by ChatGPT when I asked the same question 5 times, okay? And then I collated everything. So basically the first thing is ensuring safety, reliability, that's really an important thing. You have the code generated, but you still need to review line by line by line, see if it does the right thing, right? And then quality of a code is always a question, because every time you ask your AI, it gives you a different answer. And kill a session, start it again, you get a different answer, right? Or rephrase the sentence, you get a different answer. So there's no single source of truth, right? It's not like this is the right code, right? It's not guaranteed yet. Security. So you know that these are the code that gets generated. It's another free access for all the hackers to say, okay, this is the kind of code that is coming. How can I hack into this code, right? So it becomes a big open avenue for hackers to take this into consideration. And also, I have another comparison. I'll come back to that later. Compatibility issues, like what I said, 2021 is when the cutoff is. So you will have code deprecated. You will have later technologies and versions coming in, right? So those problems will always be there. And maintenance of the generated code, right? So developers always want to write new code, right? So it's a taboo that, oh, I'm in a maintenance project, oh, I work on somebody else's code, all those grand things people tell. But ChatGPT, you're going to maintain the other person's code. You're not really writing a code, right? Paul said the other day that he read somewhere that 80% of the code is lifted from somewhere, right? Not original code. So that is going to just get more. 80 may go to 90 at some point in time, right? We spoke about deprecation. And also vendor lock-in. So with the GAI tools, we saw the business applications there. If you realize what they are all companies that have come that use your DAL-E or your Chat GPT-3 model and build their own source code, build their own application, build their own quick output projects, right? So what that means is you're already locked into the vendor, right? So this is an important thing as well, the vendor lock-in. Agree? Yeah. Did you guys know this? Stack Overflow has banned auto-generated code to be uploaded, right? It says it's substantially harmful to the site, and the users are looking for correct answers because this guy has been giving wrong answers. Okay, so that's an interesting anti-marketing for them. And we know all the content that gets generated. We saw the email, we saw the lead gen and things like that. So we all know the poems that it can write, article for 3,000 words and things like that. Put it through any security check or other originality check. There's a website called originality.ai. You put in there 71% to 97% probability that it's an AI generated code. So yeah, high chances of plagiarism, non-acceptance of your project that you submit in your college, right? So all those things are going to be a challenge here. Okay, technology then and now. What does it mean, right? Like, let me see. Okay. So ChatGPT can really thought of as a pair programmer, a very smart programmer. You ask him a question or her a question, gives you the right answer. It gives you an answer, gives you a good code that possibly works with, 80% probability, right? So we just need to think of it like that, and not a genie who's going to do magic and solve all your problems. So this pair programmer also tries to convey that you need to use them, right? It's not like, okay, there's a lot of negativity that we saw. OpenStack removed it. You got security problems, maintainability, deprecate, all those problems are there. So let me just leave it for now. That's not a choice today, right? So we need to embrace it. We need to treat it as a pair programmer. And, there's some interesting comparisons, right? So think about the days when we used to code in VI. VI editor, and then you got your Microsoft Visual Studio. That's the first one that came. You put a dot, boom. All the functions would come in. right? How exciting was that? We were thinking, oh my God, I don't need to know any syntax, right? And then we were writing HTMLs and CSS and all those jingbangs, and CMS came. Drupal, one click, you get a website. WordPress, and you get add-ins, components, plugins, right? All these things are there. Microsoft was a vendor lock-in, and when open source came in, right, you get anything and everything you go and download. So today's code is also a lot of components that you actually download and use, right? So, of course, the magnitude of excitement is high, but, of course, I've grown up through these phases, right? Every time you get into this, you feel so excited, right? And, but the fad dies away. But here, it's going to stay. But let's please understand that there are risks, there are vulnerabilities, upgrades, deprecation, all problems are there, right? And the excitement is good. This is a leap from a CMS open source to what we have. And another important thing is ChatGPT is actually trained on open source. It's like, I don't know if you guys know, my dad used to work for the government, and they used to have a record room. So you have like files all over the place, and you want to pick a file, you need to go search and then take one out, right? That's what the World Wide Web and Google is. Now what ChatGPT says is, comes with authority and say, here is what you're looking for, right? You don't know it's right or wrong or whatever, right? You just pick it up and say, oh yeah, got it, right? So that's the ease that the guys give, right? But we have to understand, again, that's not necessarily needs to be trusted, believed. It's not a single source of truth, but it's a valuable information. And that's the one page that you get. What if Stack Overflow were to give you only one recommendation and you feel excited? Oh my God, I'm done, right? Or Google, do you guys know I'm feeling lucky button in Google? Do you guys know? If you've ever gone to google.com, there's I'm feeling lucky. So you click that, the first list comes. And if suppose you think that's all is my life, right? So that is probably what ChatGPT is, or Copilot is, right? Okay, so this is, okay, I've got 5 minutes. Okay, this is an interesting thing that I did again. So what we did was, I did an exercise. I took 5 freshers, took 5 reasonably experienced, about 4 to 6 years experienced, and said, guys, let's do something together, right? And what we did was, we built new code. Awesome, everybody's so excited, right? Build a CRUD application, build an e-commerce, build a shopping cart, whatever that is, right? So we built that. Everybody's excited. And the interesting thing is, even a rookie, a fresher, was able to cross the barrier. Oh, this is front-end code, this is back-end code, there's a JSON there, there's a database, I don't know, MongoDB. No barriers. Everybody could do everything. Then what we did was, we swapped the projects and said, now please add a promotional campaign in the shopping cart application. Lost, right? We don't know what the code is, it's running, but how does it help my life, right? So it almost took the same time as what it would have taken if we had a source code that we pulled from a Git of our own development. So what I'm trying to emphasize here, and this exercise is on, right? But it's a very interesting exercise, and what it's going to do to, again, coming back to my topic of AI skills, right? What is important here is the entry barrier to start new development is very low, right? And you need strong programming, logic, architecture skills. And you don't need to really know the syntax. Okay, how does a recursive function work? How do I connect to a database and insert a row? You don't need to know all these things now with this coming in, but you need to know that I need to store this into the database and bring that in. I need to put it into a queue and bring that in. So you need to have very strong programming and problem solving this. So you need to have very strong debugging and code analysis skills, because you are bombarded with code, right? All your life you're going to just keep looking at someone else's code and keep debugging it. And then, again, we see ability to cross the barriers, full stack developers is a lot more, right? So, and what we also feel is that we need smarter programmers, right? So the normal curve may not work, the normal curve may shrink now, because the trivial coders class will slowly shrink, right? Tell me what to do, I will code that, right? Probably that class will have to become more smarter, right? And what about our trainings, right? Our trainings of core Java, advanced Java, how to write JDBC, and things like that. Those are good to know, but don't need to by heart, right? So that is what we've realized in this whole evolution. So we are very, very strongly pushing everyone to start using this, and we know more. And of course, the other thing, which probably I'm done. So the other thing that's important is there's something called in your GPT-3 and generative AI models. There's something called foundation and fine tuning. Okay, what is the foundation? Is you've got the GPT model given to you. Fine tuning is I can fine tune to my code base, a large company, Microsoft or a Google or anybody who's got a large code base, right? You can probably look at fine-tuning the code to my code repository, coding style and stuff like that. And then it may start understanding how you write code. We were talking to a large document management company, right? So your fine-tuning on your GPT-3 could also be fine-tuning this to your document repository so that your contracts, your standards, your clauses are automatically learned, and it can bring that through. Okay, so lots going to happen here. We are in the great times as always, right? And things will stay like what people spoke about the cloud, what people spoke about AI, what people spoke about mobile phones. This is going to be with us forever, right? Yes, everybody has got problems. Everybody has got mistakes. Not everything is perfect, including GAI. All right, so that's it from my side. Hope I kept you all awake. Bye. Thank you.